Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2018 Austrian Darts Open Championships here in Graz. Time to meet our players. Time to meet the winner of 7 major PDC titles. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome the Machine, James Wade! And now, ladies and gentlemen, a World Championship and a World Match Play runner-up, UK Open Singles Champion. It's time to get the party started. It's Snakebite Peter Wright.
There is no Michael van Gerwen here this weekend, the world #1. Just having a bit of time at home, but the #1 seed is dressed in MVG green. And if you think that's a coincidence, I think you're a little naive. Peter Snakebite Wright certainly made a point of wearing bright orange when he faced MVG on Wednesday night in the Premier League, along with 10,000 other Dutchmen. It was only MVG who wasn't in orange. And it was the guys in orange who were celebrating because Peter Wright beat him. He got a draw against Rob Cross as well on Thursday night. And he has made 2 finals on the Euro Tour already this year, losing only to MVG in both of them, beating James Wade in the semis of both of them.
What Peter Wright is saying to Kirk Bevins here is that the wedges behind the board are making, there's a big protrusion of the board from the top, and it's almost the board's on an angle. It's not level. I agree with him. Looking at the left of the screen here, you can see there's a lot more protruding from the top than the bottom. I think that's got to be adjusted.
So the double top is actually closer than the double 3.
We're talking small margins here, but I agree with Peter. Look at the bottom near the double 3. There's a small gap between the ring and the board. Look at the top. There's a protrusion of more. I think he's right.
Well, the Kirkulator, Kirk Bevins, our referee, is just disappearing off stage to go and get his toolbox, sort this out.
It's easily done. All we've got to do is take the ring off. Just adjust the wedges behind.
Yeah.
Make sure they're in the same amount. Make sure it's nice and even. Otherwise, the board will be tilting.
Now then, Kirk, what's your decision? Bevins. James Wade doesn't seem that fussed, and sometimes these are the sort of things that Wadey can get fixated on. He decides, I'm not, this needs to be sorted. But he seems much less bothered about it than Peter Wright does. Torsten Brock, one of our organisers, has sent for a new board. I'm not sure it's the board that's the issue, it's just the chocks, isn't it?
There they are, the chocks fall on the floor. And what he's got to do when he puts the board on the wall, he's just got to make sure that the chocks put behind the board are put in the same amount, because if you put them in more on the top and less at the bottom, then it's going to be tilted.
Well, there you see the chocks going in there, and it's just a case of the ones at the top there, perhaps in a bit further than the one at the bottom. That's all it was.
That's all it was.
But that, I mean, that looks okay there. Let's just see when the tyre goes on. If it, yeah, that looks better. Well, if anything, it might have gone the other way.
That looks a lot better to me.
It does look better. Get the spirit level on there.
Who said darts was simple?
Hey, well, look. Not only do you get the final couple of games from day 2 of the Austrian Darts Open, it's turned into an episode of grand designs as well. We're taking things down, we're building them back up again. And I think we're ready to get things underway here.
Well, if this is Holmes under the hammer, surely that board's worth more now.
Well, yeah, quite possibly.
I wonder what it's worth every calendar month. Might be worth a few quid. There's a 9-darter on it.
Well, one of these guys could well produce the 9. Well, they could do in theory. They won't do it because it's a European tour. Always wonder, Peter Wright, he's only hit 2 career 9-darters. I think that's very odd for a guy who is, you know, he is a complete player. Hits a lot of 180s, takes out big finishes, constantly playing and winning games, and yet he's only hit 2 9-darters in his professional career.
When was last year?
It was last year, you're right. In fact, it was on the Pro Tour because I commentated on it. I think he did it in a semi-final in Wigan in pretty much, what is it? It'll be the year anniversary in 9 days.
The ladies James to throw first. Game on.
Went on to the final that day, Peter Wright, and he was beaten by Gary Anderson, if memory serves. Yeah, he was, 6-3. Well, we have the board. It's level. There's still a big chunk of it that's protruding from the bottom of the skinny 20 segment, but I don't think anybody will be throwing a dart there on purpose.
Not on purpose, anyway. But Peter Wright is using the same darts that he used in Rotterdam, which is a good sign, because they're the darts that he used to beat Michael van Gerwen.
Yeah, he was superb in that game as well. I mean, his finishing was almost flawless. We have seen a flawless display of finishing today from Michael Smith, 100% on his doubles and 105 average. It's a standout display of today. Maybe we'll see something that betters it tonight.
That's a little bit better than his first visit.
Yes, it is.
It's what journeyman players would say,
100.
back to normal. When you have one score that's like 27 and then you have a 180 after that. Just got to laugh. Darts is a strange game sometimes.
60.
Liven the crowd up. Peter Wright always tends to do that, particularly on the European circuit, where he is just universally adored.
100.
Remember back to when it all started? There was an article in a newspaper in Germany when we were in Dusseldorf, and it was a whole big one-page spread, not about Phil Taylor, not about Raymond van Barneveld, but it was about Peter Wright and his hair. Everybody saw it, and since then Peter Wright has been their #1 son, really.
Well, you will see more Peter Wright
57.
memorabilia being paraded around in these Eurotour crowds than any other player, pretty much. More than Van Gerwen, more than Chizzy, Adrian Lewis, both very popular over here in Europe. More than even Mensur Suljovic and Max Hopp.
Me and Malarkey came up with a really good thing. I'll mention that in a second. 14 for tops for Wadey to take the first leg, and he's missed a big number.
When does he do that?
33. You require 30.
Well, this is very doable. Only needs one treble. Admittedly, a bullseye at the end if he doesn't get 2 trebles. It's a lot easier than 1-3-1, though. It's just got a lot easier. Bullseye it is. And that would have hurt Wadey. That really would have hurt him.
40.
But he has got tops with 3 darts in hand. Inevitable, surely.
Maybe not.
James on the first leg.
Double 5 comes to his aid, and James Wade gets the first leg on the board in this one.
Yeah, we started talking about Simon Whitlock when he was playing Adam Hunt earlier, and we came up with the idea of a bearded balloon.
A bearded balloon.
Yeah, there were a lot of
57.
balloon puns flying, so to speak, in that match, and Rob came up with the idea of a big balloon with Simon's beard on it and his logo. We thought they might be quite popular.
100.
I mean, it's an option. Whitlock is not someone who's ventured particularly into the darts memorabilia and darts merchandise arena, not like, say, Peter Wright, certainly not somebody like Jamie Caven,
140.
for example, who has a vast, baffling array of Jabba merchandise.
Yeah, he's got his own birth control.
He does. He does.
Peter Wright's got his own flip-flops.
140.
Does he?
Yeah, the Peter Wright thongs, as they say in Australia.
Yes.
The Peter Wright flip-flops.
Well.
Oh, they're rather striking.
I can imagine. I'd imagine they're not demure.
100.
Well, nothing that's got Peter Wright's name on or his alter ego Snakebite is boring.
100.
Don't presume this game's going to be boring either. They've played each other. This is the third time this year on the Euro Tour.
Yeah, the two previous ones semi-finals, and they were absolute stonkers as well. 7-3 and 7-4 wins for Peter Wright. Doesn't tell the whole story.
180.
Second 180 for Peter Wright, leads him double 12.
We will come back for it too. And in Leverkusen, when they played, they had a mean
130.
average on doubles of 94% between them. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It just didn't miss. I think they missed one. And that isn't missed either.
The next exchange for
1-all.
Game on.
Very intriguing contest so far.
Yeah, well, it's been fascinating watching these two go at it this year on the Euro Tour, because
100.
Peter Wright hasn't been playing quite as well as he did at the start of last year. James Wade has really come back into form and is playing some fantastic stuff, and they're very, very evenly matched. And you look at their head-to-head record. The start of the year, Wade was 16-15 up. Now he's 16-17 down because of those
45.
But it has been Peter Wright who has just surged ahead. You can look at the tail of their two careers, really. When Wadey was winning things left, right, and centre, he was dominating in his clashes with Peter Wright. Dates all the way back to playing in Holland on a Pro Tour event back in 2009, their first meeting. But Wadey just went on runs of winning game after game after game against Peter Wright.
174.
Admittedly, Peter
just
Wright
turned
wasn't
into
the
a
same
different
player
Well,
back
that's it. He's turned into something else. He's evolved. And Wade has only won
84.
twice since May 2016. So pretty much the last 2 years. And they've met well over a dozen times in that time. So Peter Wright has just surged back.
60.
And he's now, you'd have to say, the more consistent and better player than James Wade. But he's James Wade. And he's been playing fantastically. And he is due another title.
77.
Well, for the second leg running, we see a big three-treble visit to leave a player on a double. Peter Wright did it in the previous leg and took out the double 12. Wade has left himself top.
180.
That isn't a bad setup either.
Ace on the third leg.
Well, there it is. The no-breath
Well, they Peter to throw
three
first.
visit
Game on.
for Kirk Bevins. 180 James Uruguay tops game shot on the third leg, James Wade. Now you can take a breath, Mr. Referee.
100.
Peter Wright was just behind us backstage just before he went out there, and he's so fluorescent, it's almost glow in the dark.
Genuinely,
60.
this is quite a clever little merchandising move, because we've got so many UV lights at these gigs. The Peter Wright shirts that they flog in the merchandising stall, they do light up. So if you're in the crowd, and
140.
your mates are watching this on the streaming feed, then depending on what lights they've got on, you can see your mate lit up in the crowd of. In fact, it's very clever. I mean, the only downside is if
140.
everybody's wearing them, then it doesn't make any difference.
There's every chance of that because he is quite popular.
Well,
so
yeah.
if they've all bought one, maybe you could be one of 100.
Yeah.
100.
He does. It is proper UV paint on the hair as well. So particularly at the big tournaments like the World Championship, he does genuinely fluoresce under the light.
What's he going to think of next?
100. Peter require 161.
I remember seeing him turn up at the awards do one year in a suit that genuinely lit up. It had LEDs all over the place. Strong look.
That must have been the year after the Scotland flag tuxedo.
Yes, that was quite the look.
87.
Could it be another superb setup shot here?
Is he going to go bull here?
84.
Not quite.
Peter Ivoire,
Well, he
74.
looked at that as if to say, how dare you. It's 74 for Peter Wright. Will be 20 in tops now. Oh, no.
What are you doing, man?
Peter Ivoire, 117.
74 scored with 2 darts, but unfortunately, you need to finish on a double, Peter. You've played this game before.
And he's got the same shot when he comes back. That does happen now and again. Maybe it was one of those shots where he just blinked at the wrong moment and it came out at the wrong angle. But, eyes wide open. That's 27. So, 20 off that is 54. 7 off leaves 47. Just making sure. If he goes 15 here and he hits the treble, he's got double 1.
Mm-hmm.
That is double 16.
58.
It's not there. And Wade, he can punish.
60.
Well, a bit of a mess there, 2 visits for Peter Wright. And Wade to break and go 3-1 up in this one.
If Wadey can get through this game,
Game on.
he is going to fancy this, isn't he?
He certainly will, because taking out the top-seeded player means that you assume his position. It is Johnny Clayton, the 16th seed, who awaits the winner of this one. However, so many seeded players have come through today. It's only Jelle Klaassen and Benito van der Pas, and of course the withdrawal of Dave Chisnall, that you've got some big name players. I mean,
140.
quarter-final against Ian White is a potential clash for the guys in this section of the draw. And Ian White took care of MVP last time out.
140.
And he was pretty good against Brendan Dolan earlier on, 98 average. He's got Simon Whitlock, who came through that bit of a struggle with Adam Hunt.
Well, from 2008 onwards, where he made his reputation, not just with things like that, what Peter Wright has done, but taking advantage when big players were out of tournaments. When Taylor got eliminated, he used to win the tournament.
140.
That's the way it went. Terry Jenkins takes out Taylor. James takes out Terry Jenkins. Remember the UK Open 2011? I took Taylor, James took me.
149.
Potential 10-dart leg coming in here, unless James Wade produces some archetypal wading on double 14.
107.
Archetypal wading.
Oh,
That's got a nice ring to it.
That would have been so weighty. Peter Wright in a 10-darter and doesn't get a go at the double 16.
Game shot the fifth leg. Peter Wright.
Break straight back with an 11.
Big-legged Peter to throw first. Game on.
He does play rather well with this setup, doesn't he, Peter Wright? Beaten Michael van Gerwen with them twice in the Premier League. Count that, 2 finals with Michael van Gerwen this year on the Euro Tour.
91.
And he still found it necessary to fiddle around with these very small flights, which didn't suit him. But he told me in Saarbrücken that they did.
140.
What did he do after we had that conversation? Lost to Max Hopp, and then he went to the Premier League and changed them.
Yeah. Well, look, I've seen Peter Wright turn up on Pro Tour weekends, and he changed to a heavier, sort of bulbous dart, like a sort of Phil Taylor style.
100.
And I commentated on one of his games on the Saturday, and he was poor, and he went out early. And we were questioning at the time, well, what are you doing, Peter? Why are you using these darts? They're completely different from the ones you've had so much success with. Why are you doing it?
140.
And then the next day, he turns up and he's averaging 100 all the way through the day, using exactly the same setup, because he can throw anything. You almost think that sometimes he overthinks things about how he holds it, how he throws it, how he's trying to get his darts to behave. And he kind of gets himself in a bit of a muddle, because I've never known a player as Peter Wright who has a different grip, holds the dart in different places for each target he throws on the board. Never ever come across anybody who does that, but he does. And he does it with different darts. He's got so many variables.
Oh, just that little grimace as if to say, I wanted that one.
105.
He might not get another visit.
Number 19 leaves double 12. Double 6, right next to his favourite.
75.
I didn't expect him to miss that.
65.
No. I'm not sure James Wade did. I'm not sure Peter Wright did either. But he did. And it means Snake Bite can level this match up. Double top. Very, very good stuff. But I have to say, Peter Wright, he's in his more methodical mode here. He's giving himself just an extra second or so when he's addressing each shot. And I often think that's when he plays his best stuff. Just that statuesque pose as he's taking aim. We have seen him throw a lot quicker than this. And look, he can play fantastic at whatever pace he plays. But I just think just that extra little heartbeat as he chucks one into the 5, just to make a nonsense of what I'm saying.
Are you making reference to when he played Gary in Berlin in the Premier League? When he played with a longer stem, a heavier, more tapered dart, with a big flight, and he just played fluently all night, and he scored unbelievably. It was a 6-6 draw, and it was sky-high averages. 104
plays, 105 averages in those games. It was an incredible, one of the best games we've seen in the Premier League this season. It looks as if, I think Peter Wright's hopes for the playoffs have been ended by only picking up a draw against Rob Cross and giving himself too much to do. But he has certainly played a part in this Premier League campaign, even though he's at threat of elimination.
If he can't make the top 4, he'll want to spoil other people's chances.
Winning twice against MVG, it might ultimately end up costing MVG top spot in the league phase and £25,000. And Peter Wright would love to do that to MVG with the amount of money he's lost at the hands of the world #1 over the last few years. We are talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds, because Peter Wright keeps getting beaten in big finals by Michael van Gerwen. Doesn't happen all the time. Last year on the Euro Tour, he dished out some hidings himself.
Oh. Double 12 left, maybe?
137.
Indeed it is. That forces Wright to take this 136. This is one of those shots that would lift the roof off. But he always seems to be left on these kinds of shots to break James. James is holding very well. And you don't expect him to miss double 12 because it's part of the game plan. Tops, 10s and 12s. It's what he leaves. And what he hits. 4-3 up. All on throw. What will happen next?
Well, I kind of wish this was a semi-final and final, because we'd have a slightly longer format, and I just want to see these guys play for as long as possible, because once again, Peter Wright and James Wade are clashing on the Euro Tour, and they are producing a fantastic quality of game. In terms of the best games we've seen so far this weekend, yes, we saw an incredible performance from Michael Smith earlier on. We have seen some very impressive displays, but we've got two guys averaging over 100 here, more than 102. And you do not know which way it is going to go. This was the game that jumped off the page when you looked at the running order for tonight.
100.
And it is delivering at the moment.
It's getting more tense by the leg as well. Peter Wright is having to chase James Wade because he's been too strong on his own throw.
100.
It's almost like the Peter Wright and James Wade roadshow on the Euro Tour this year. And if they keep playing like this, I'm going to keep watching it.
140.
Leaves the 136 again. Wade might leave the 161 again.
Might be 121.
Might be. And it is his first 180. Leaves the 121 that he very nearly took out for a 4-1 lead earlier in the match. Peter Wright has been warned.
I had a funny feeling he was going to go for double-double there. The lie wasn't prime. Treble 17 and Bull to take a 5-3 lead is not going to happen. So Wright, 3 darts in hand. You expect him to get this for 4-4. Has to hit it because Wadey has left double 12. Does hit it. It is 4-4.
I think it's
And it just keeps going on and on. 13-dart leg from Peter Wright. This is a lovely game to watch.
Yeah, absorbing stuff. The last 4 legs, it's been 11-darter, 14-darter, 13-darter, 13-darter. Really world-class stuff from these two. They're both averaging way, way over 100. There you see, 104 plays 105. It does have a bit of a feeling of that Gary Anderson-Peter Wright game from the Premier League in Berlin, which ended as a 6-all draw. That cannot happen here.
60.
One of them must go home.
How happy were you that James Wade decided to ditch those horrible-looking maroon trousers?
But look, I wasn't a fan of the red trousers, I have to say.
100.
And look, I prefer Peter Wright's trousers, and I wouldn't wear either of them myself, but I'm not sure. Wadey was incredibly proud of those red trousers.
I don't know why.
Well, I don't know why he's ditched them.
57.
Like, he just seemed so happy with himself when he was wearing them.
I'm very hopeful that they've become some sort of chamois for one of his many cars.
It is possible.
95.
You know,
Very good
James
footwear on show in this game.
Oh yeah. I think they're a pair of Barkers that he's got on, James Wade.
He has shown me where he gets his shoes. He's very, very proud of those as well, with good reason. They are some.
Joe Wright has told me out loud that I'm not allowed to share any shoe knowledge that I have with Peter Wright because all he does is go out and buy them. So I've been banned from talking about shoes.
138.
Well, I haven't been banned yet from talking about darts. And right now, Peter Wright does need a full house of treble 20s to get on level terms with James in this leg to give himself a chance. What's he going to do here? Maybe to the left of the first dart? Oh, that's tight, you know, that's tight.
76.
Needs mistakes from Wade now. You don't expect them in this contest.
4 out of 9 on his doubles right now.
56.
It might take something like this for Wright to get the break of flow that he needs. Not seen a checkout higher than 65 in this match so far. We're not going to see the 144 here either. And with Wade 3 darts in hand looking at double 10, you think there's only really
96.
one outcome here.
20.
It's 2 possible. Is it double 5 to the rescue again? Yes. It is. That's what he does to you when he's in this grinding mode. I think he's in a bit of pain. He's obviously got his foot issue, but he is working really, really hard.
100.
Did he slip over at Minehead?
Apparently so, yeah. That's what Rob Malarkey did some proper journalism and found out that he had slipped and broken a bone in his foot, which seemingly he was unaware of until this week. I hadn't noticed him hobbling around at all in the intervening weeks, and then all of a sudden he's gone, yeah, I've got a broken bone in my foot, and now starts hobbling. I don't even understand it.
140.
Well, when he's not in his dart shoes, he's got this big protection thing on his foot.
140.
Back-to-back ton 40s for James Wade. Is he about to end this game in the penultimate leg, or what could be the penultimate leg?
Just get the feeling that Wright may have needed one more treble there.
He does love a 161, Peter Wright.
Is it a 161 he hit against Van Gerwen in Sindelfingen last year?
On his way to a 6-0 win.
What a shot that was. He might need that again now because Wadey's on a 121. He's hit a bucket load of those in his career.
Very nearly took one out earlier on. The 161 is not going to go, and James Wade has one of those Wadey checkouts to knock the number 1 seed out of the Austrian Darts Open. Treble 17. Bullseye for the machine.
84. Peter Maguire 107.
Not close on the bullseye shot. But Peter Wright, because he couldn't get a bullseye at 25, has made things rather difficult for himself here. One treble is needed. That treble is hit. So 47 left. What would he rather have? It's usually a double 16 kind of guy. It will be double 16 to make this crowd get off their seats.
75. Danger requires 37.
17. Double 10. And Peter Wright is out. James Wade, who suffered semi-final heartache twice on the Euro Tour this year to that man, bites back and dumps out the number 1 seed. I know that most of the seeded players have gone through today, but the top one has just been eliminated. Rob Cross had to survive match dart after match dart against Steve West. The very, very top players, the guys who are expecting to go on and win here this weekend, they are not having it all their own way. Rob Cross has got another chance, but Peter Wright does not. James Wade will face Johnny the Ferret Clayton for a spot in the quarter-finals. And now we await the arrival of Austria's number 1. We'll grab a few words with James Wade, who is through to the final day of the Austrian Darts Open, and then listen to the reception for the Champions League winner, Mensur Suljovic, in his home country.
You look focused, and you look like you enjoyed it, did you?
No, I'm sweating. It's a bloody offer. And no, I mean, the crowd have been great. There's a few people down here that cheered me towards the end. That's a positive, but no, it's really hot up here tonight, and I got away with a B-class Peter, so that's good for me, you know, and I'm happy and moving onwards.
And it looks like you're very happy with the game at the moment. Very solid. Looking forward to tomorrow, last 16.
It shows you can win with a very average game. So, you know, I'm really happy. Like I say, the crowd got behind me towards the end, and I'm here, you know, I'm enjoying myself. There's worse jobs out there, isn't there?
There certainly is. Ladies and gents, through to tomorrow's last 16. And I've seen James Wade. Folks,